So,
For that is our working day.
amen. For God's sake, sir, you don't have eyes to see stealing all over this country here.
Well, wait and see. The solution is with this.
Waiting, so what you get corruption and mismanagement of government resources is affecting our way of living life.
Yes, it is true. But some efforts are being made to stop it.
I beg you, what else?
We now have a new anti-corruption law, including the new Anti-Corruption Commission Act, the whistleblower, and the witness protection laws that are in place to strengthen the fight against corruption. So you see, solution is coming.
When we use the word corruption, it will be another long word in story. Let me go in and take you from here and watch this theory.
No, dear. This time around, the new Anti-Corruption Commission Act (NACA) gives LACC the power to go directly to court with corruption cases without going through the Ministry of Justice.
Will this be for the social good to benefit those who are abused by stealing our resources, including me? Dear. Hey, Sarah, what's making news? What making news? That Sarah hurting my head here with this anti-corruption story. But I heard there's something going wrong. Samuel, do you know what you are talking? When government people just getting rich in a twinkling of an eye, while we, the poor people, getting poorer every day?
Here, the whistleblower and the witness protection law will also give incentive for those blowing the whistle on corruption. When you report the corruption and the people who receive the money, you will get 5% as the reward for reporting. When you see corruption, report it and the law will back you. So nobody will do anything to you.
Are you really sure of the things you are talking?
Oh yes, the government now put in place the ombudsman.
So when the ombudsman will be doing, Sarah?
The ombudsman will investigate violations of code of conduct. It will make sure that people working in government act properly and that they don't do things anyhow.
Sarah, tell me more about the witness protection law.
Samuel, that law calls for the establishment of a witness protection law.
Media and Communications Officer at Centaur. This show is on this radio station every Wednesday at about this time, 11 a.m., and it runs up to 12 noon. It serves as a primary radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of Centaur. It's also a key advocacy tool that provides essential information about the state of the fight against corruption and national integrity building efforts, as well. It promotes the culture of accountability, transparency, and evidence-based decision making across all sectors and institutions in Liberia. This program is an activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, which is a 3 year program supported by the government of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA. Today we have our guest, and he is from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. He is Alfred Conley, the Community Relations Officer at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LACC, which is our major partner, one of our major partner in the fight against corruption. And we'll be talking about the new LACC law, the whistleblower and witness protection laws, and other things, other activities at the LACC. Before we do that, we will tell you a little bit more about what we're doing as CENTAR as part of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. We are running several activities, one of which is our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. That center is housed at CENTAR. It has lawyers, professional lawyers, who are ready and willing to receive your complaints of corruption. So we have a hotline, which is 4432. Once you have your phone charged with power and you don't need to have units or credit, all you need is a phone that is charged. And when you have that, you can call our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center on 4432. It's free for both Lone Star and Orange subscribers. All you need is just a phone that is charged and is able to make a call. And once you call our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, you'll be received by a lawyer who will ask you a couple of questions and try to get some merits from whatever allegation that you may be reporting. And once those formalities are completed, the case or allegation will be processed and will be forwarded to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, who has the statutory mandate to investigate and prosecute corruption-related cases. So we just received a complaint from you. The lawyers will do their due diligence to ensure that there is merit, there's something that LACC can take up. And then once we completed that process, we will forward to the LACC, and then we'll follow up with the LACC. We don't just submit a case at the LACC and just sit back and relax. We follow up to ensure that that particular case is adjudicated. We forwarded several cases. The LACC has looked into several of the cases that we received through our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, and they have investigated a lot of them. Some of them are in court. And so it is an encouragement for you out there to report an allegation of corruption when you see it. That is the only way we are going to fight corruption. That's the only way we are going to succeed in our war against corruption. If you, members of the public, participate by reporting allegations of corruption. And one of the fears we always, feedback we always receive from the public is the fear that the identity will be disclosed. If I report this allegation of corruption, they might call my name, I might lose my job. A lot of people have raised those concerns. And what we always tell them is that we are in the business of protecting your identity. The lawyers at CENTAR are trained to protect your identity. They will not, for any reason, for any purpose, disclose your identity. That is a fundamental part of whistleblowers or whistleblowing. Everywhere in the world that people encourage whistleblowing, one of the key part of encouraging whistleblowing is to protect the identity of whistleblowers. Because if you don't protect their identities, you are not going to receive, complaints of corruption. And the only way you are successful in the fight against corruption is when you receive reports from the public, because you are not everywhere. The LACC, for example, is not everywhere. So, they have power, but then they are confined at the office, and their various offices. They are not in the communities. They are not at the marketplaces. They are not in your offices. So they rely on you to report whatever you've seen, and they will protect your identity so that, you cannot lose your job or you cannot be exposed. Unless you want to disclose your identity. Even if you want to disclose your identity, you will be advised not to do so, because it is not a good thing. We are aware. So don't be afraid. If you're out there and you see something happening, you're in an office, you're seeing whoever is supervising you involving to, for example, whatever the extortion or sextortion or whether it is conflict of interest, you know, patronage, whatever form of corruption that may be, you can go in the corner, take your phone, call Center's Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, dial 4432, and report that allegation without fear. Or you can send out a WhatsApp message in case you don't want to call. If things is happening right before you, you may not want to call. You may want to send a WhatsApp message. The number is 0555 Once you send a WhatsApp message to 0555 the lawyers at Centar will receive your complaint. Or you can send an email to ilac@centar.org.lr. Again, it's ILAC, and ILAC is spelled ALAC at centar, CENTAL.org.lr. Once you send an email to that address, the lawyers at Centar will receive your complaints of corruption, and they will investigate, and after which they will forward to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And good thing is that we have the community relations officer at the LACC who's going to tell us more about what they do with some of the cases that we send and some of the investigations that they may have, or some of the court proceedings, or some of the cases they've already taken to court. We also are running several things at Centar under the NIMBA program, which is the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, one of which is our Integrity Club Outreach Program. We run that program at 4 universities: UMU, AMU, Stella Maris Polytechnic University, and the University of Liberia. All of those universities have our Integrity Club. So if you're a student of any of those universities, you can visit the administrative offices or the bulletin boards, and you will see information about how to join the Integrity Club and become an ambassador of, anti-corruption ambassador. How to join the army of young people that is fighting against corruption. You can join by visiting your various campuses: UMU, AMU, Stella Maris Polytechnic University, and the University of Liberia. You can visit the main campus. You can also visit the Capitol Hill campus or the Fender campus, whatever that you may be, and you can access information. You can know who to contact. You can know what are the procedures in joining or becoming part of our Integrity Club outreach program. We are also running our open expenditure initiative, and that initiative is working with county service centers and county officials to ensure first there is transparency around the utilization of the county social development funds, and that there is collaboration and enhanced transparency within members of the county service centers. We conduct open expenditure forums where we congregate county officials and local leaders to discuss modalities and see to it that the county social development funds are utilized efficiently and effectively. We do monitoring visits, and we also release monitoring reports from those visits that we do. We monitor projects implemented as a result of the county social development funds. We also do research as part of this initiative. We do research on the budget process and other issues. We're also collaborating on the National Integrity Forum with several anti-graft institutions of government. The LACC is one, the GSC, the PPCC, the Governance Commission, National Elections Commission, you just name them. We are all collaborating on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum. And what are we doing with that program? We are supporting efforts to ensure increased transparency in government service delivery. The National Integrity Forum has erected several billboards at various public institutions. The Ministry of Transport has two giant-sized billboards erected at the entry that has all of the fees for services at the Ministry of Transport. You want to register your vehicle, what does it cost? All of those information are available on the bulletin board erected on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum. We also have similar thing done at the Liberia Business Registry, at the Bureau of Vital Statistics, at the Liberia Immigration Service, National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, Ministry of Internal Affairs, and a lot more. And there are plans to extend that service to other government institutions providing services. Our plan is to ensure that the people have access to information about the cost of services that government offers. When they have access to the information, the likelihood of somebody extorting money from them or they paying more than what is required will be reduced. And that's what we want. We want to reduce extortion, bribery. So if I know that I'm supposed to pay $50, it's on the bulletin board. These are fees approved. $50 for a driver's license. I walk into the office and then somebody charges me more. I'm going to demand and say, no, I'm supposed to pay $50 because that's $50 on the bulletin board. That way we'll reduce extortion. That is what we're doing through our National Integrity Forum. That is that. We will take a very short break, and when we return, we will talk to our guests. our guest, who is Alfred Conley. He's the Community Relations Officer at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LACC, which happens to be one of our major partners in the fight against corruption. Imagine without the LACC, I mean, what do we do with those cases, for example, we received from the public? Because we as civil society organization, we do not have the authority, the legal authority or backing to sort of prosecute corruption offenses. We have, we have limitations, and our limitation is in complaints and in doing preliminary investigations and submitting to LACC, which has the legal authority to prosecute corruption related matters. So we have a very strong relationship with the LACC. We collaborate on a lot of things. And it's my pleasure to welcome you, Mr. Conley, to this platform. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Blambo. And it's an honor to always be here. I remember I was here a year or two ago
Okay.
to discuss issues surrounding the work we do at the LACC.
Mm.
So again, it's an honor, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm
Yes.
to take your questions.
So let's start with what's happening at the LACC. People are very upbeat. First, there's a new LACC. What do you want to tell the public about what's new at the LACC?
Well, basically, the LACC is vibrant, strong. As a matter of fact, we just moved. We are trying to relocate
Okay.
somewhere around the Two Pillars curve. And but in terms of our operational workings, we are strong, we are good, we are vibrant, like I said. And like you rightly put it, we have a new LACC. And that new LACC is the LACC that we are asking you to stand with,
Mm.
because if you look back where we came from, when the LACC came into being, the way it is now, regarding some of the power we have, I think the new LACC is poised to do more once we get the support.
So tell the public what is new, because I mean there was, a LACC before, and I mean the law was amended, and there's a new LACC. So what's different? What is the different powers? What are the different authorities that you have? What makes you new?
All right. So when you go back, the fight against corruption, it doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Okay.
You have to have laws, anti-corruption laws, to guard you in the fight against corruption. And those laws are basically legal framework or statute that government enact as a way of deterring, investigating, and prosecuting out of corruption. All right. And they are aimed to promote integrity across government operation, transparency, and accountability. So the LACC law is just one of those legal framework that has been acted by the government to strengthen the LACC. So this LACC came into being in 2008 by an act of legislation. It got functional, it was working, but it had limitations, right? There were issues surrounding the law that limited the LACC. That's the old LACC law, the 2008 Act. Now, if you go through that act, you come to realize that the act had a lot of limitation in terms of prosecutorial power. Under that law, as an LACC, we could not go to court on our own. We drew indictment and submitted to the Justice Ministry, and they would take siege of the matter. We only went to court after 90 days.
Okay.
If they fail to take out the case, then we go to court. Under that old law, we have 5 commissioners, right? This new law gave us 7 commissioners. Under that old law, the LACC now have the power to control the asset declaration regime. That was a function of the GSC. So the GSC and the LACC had a memorandum of understanding that the LACC were going to perform this duty on behalf of the GAC. So it was now our function, right? So we now had that function to control the entire regime, the asset declaration regime.
Okay.
Under that old law also, the head of the investigative department, the program manager, alone had the power of a police officer.
Okay.
Only he alone had the power of a police officer, right? We also had the statute of limitation and a lot of stuff that limited the LACC. So as
So have we dealt with the statute of limitation?
no, I will get there. I will get there. So as a state party to the UNCA convention, if you look at the different articles, it calls for
When
this.
you say UNCA,
UNCA is the United Convention Against Corruption.
okay, yes.
And Liberia is a state party to that convention. Even the AU convention, we also state party. These are conventions against corruption. So those conventions call for you setting up bodies, that specialized body to handle each of corruption. We already have the LACC in conformity of that convention. We've played our part.
Okay.
That convention also called for the establishment of the Whistleblower, the Winter Protection Act, the extension of statute of limitation. So 2 years back, the LACC prayed the national legislature to look at our laws and make some amendment, right? And those pieces was submitted, and I think after a year or two, we had a break, right? Okay. The new LACC law was passed in 2022. Now, what makes the law different from the old law is what I want to delve into a bit.
Okay.
Now, under the old law, like I said, we never had prosecutorial power.
Okay.
So in 2022, the LACC law was amended and restated. Okay. Meaning some portion was changed, and some portions were just restated as they were in the old act. So in this new act now, the LACC has direct prosecutorial power. Meaning the LACC can draw indictments and go to court on her own, and not waiting for the Justice Ministry to intervene anymore. Right? That's one. Two, under the new act, the LACC now controls the entire asset declaration regime of the country. We draw the guidelines, we manage the entire regime of the country. In the old act, like I said, it was a function of the GAC. We only did that on behalf of the GAC as a result of this being already understanding that we have the GAC. But the new act has moved us now from just performing this act or this function on behalf of the GAC to the custodian of the regime. Okay. Right? Under the old act, like I said, the program manager of the investigative department had the power of a police officer. The new act said no, every investigator at the LACC is not equated to a police officer. So these are some of the changes that we have in the new act. And laws are always subject to amendment, to improvement. We are hoping that as we go along, we are able to improve them. Like the time for the statute of limitation, we need to extend that time is 5 years. If you look at the UNCA Convention, it says countries should extend it to have a longer period. Because if the period is limited and you initiate an investigation, and somebody who is welcome to the law knows that if this investigation is initiated and maybe I esconded the country after 5 years, come by, you got a case, and can just secretly leave the country. Or if you have an extended statute of limitation, whether you go and stay for 5 years, you come back, you stay on our jurisdiction. We can prosecute you. So we are hoping that as we go along, Sintar and other civil society organizations can join us to improve on the law. But as is, I think the law strengthens us to some extent, and we just need to keep going and keep doing what we're supposed to do.
So, before the old LACC, there used to be a lot of press conferences. People conferences, and we announce some allegations when people are accused of corruption. It will be announced by the LACC, but I have not seen this happening a lot. What's happening? Are you barred under the new law?
No. So under the new law, people are presumed innocent until a judge guilty. Right? I'm not a lawyer, but that's what the law says.
Okay.
So under that act, as a provision of in the Constitution, which is the organic law of the land, the new act, in my mind, the frame of the act didn't want to be blind towards what the Constitution have laid out, as a law that we should follow. So until an indictment is drawn, you can speak to a specific case at the LACC, except an indictment is drawn. Okay. Right? It's after the indictment is drawn before you can speak to the public about that case. But when you are doing preliminary investigation, you are collecting facts, you can't go on the air because the person is presumed innocent until they are adjudged guilty. So under that provision, the framework of the law taught that the sanctity of the accused should be protected.
But if you drew an indictment, the person is still innocent.
Yeah, but that's the law, so we have to follow the
So
law.
my thing is, I mean, the reliance could not be because the person is presumed innocent. Because if you drew an indictment, the person is still presumed innocent, and
Of
now
course,
you can
but
disclose.
if you drew an indictment,
Mm,
the publication or the your coming to the press will have limitations,
okay.
because there are things you say that will jeopardize your own investigation or your own case. So in that regard, if you come into the press to say, oh, Mr. X was indicted, you have a limit that you speak to.
Mm,
Yeah, you know, when a case is in court, there's certain things you don't say about the court or about the case. But what I'm saying is, before you announce this person that the person being indicted or the person is in court, you have drawn indictment and the case has started. Then you can speak to a certain extent.
okay.
But you know, as an investigator, if it were you and you are in court, there are certain things you will not say before you jeopardize the investigation.
So let's just come to this whistleblower law. I mean, it's been passed, I think, sometimes 2022, 2021. And so it's been here, it's been up and running. Tell us some of the highlights of that law. What does it say? What sort of protection it has for those who like to blow whistle and report corruption?
Okay, so I will talk about the whistleblower and the witness protection briefly.
Okay.
Like you put it, our people need to know what we're doing, to what extent the law can protect them, their roles and their responsibility. These are things we want to say to them so they get involved. The idea is to elicit their support and buy-in for against corruption. So if you look at the historical background, our country suffered political instability and civil war. After the Civil War, during the Civil War, crimes were committed. And some of the people who even made themselves available to relevant authorities to say what they knew about this crime came under threat. When Madam Sarif took over and established the IDCC, the fight against corruption began. It took a different dimension. People who were also involved and as expert witnesses also came on an attack they were threatening. So if you look at the UNCTAD Convention, like I said, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Article 32 and 33, talks about state parties to the convention instituting laws that protect witnesses and whistleblowers. So as a state party to that convention, we are obliged as Liberia to live up to that convention. So Liberia is in fulfillment of a commitment to the UNCTAD Convention by passing these pieces of laws. We didn't do it in isolation. We did it because it's an international obligation. Despite the historicity I just tried to summarize, it is also an international obligation by Liberia to perform. Now, so we have the witness protection law, right? That witness protection law basically is there to protect people who are willing to come to court to tell us what they know about out of corruption. So basically, I wanted to talk about what is witness protection in itself, right? It refers to basically a set of rules or guidelines instituted by government to protect people who come forward to say what they know about corrupt cases. So the law we put aside to protect these people from the threat I just mentioned earlier is what we call witness protection, right? It's also called witness security, or they call it witness protection program, right? So the law was passed basically to protect people who wouldn't they come to us to say, look, I know about this thing and I can testify in court.
Okay.
So what does it basically entail? When you come to us as a witness, you need protection, because once you show up, there are repercussions already, right? Retaliation. People will go after corruption first back. People who are involved are powerful people. So it involves that the LACC will take siege of your report, investigate your standing, know that the credibility you bring to the table, and once we view you credible, and your testimony can stay in the court of law, that we are under the law now to protect you, and that protection ranges from your security protection, a personal security guard. You are entitled to a personal security detail. You are entitled to relocation, right?
Mm.
You are entitled to change of identity, the confidentiality, everything comes into being. Because, like I said, corruption first back.
Okay.
I will take you back to the case involving people who blew whistle. Yeah,
Mm.
the lead consultant Allison. You know how he ended up. The whistle against the Sabo mining case. You know how he ended up.
Yeah, but are we actually implementing that particular provision of the law? Because I mean, do we have the witness protection unit as provided for in the law set up? Are we doing it? Do we just have it in the law, or we have it, but then we're seeing that happening? We're seeing people going to the LCC and they're being protected. They're giving security, whatever. They're giving police protection, and they are going to the court. Are we seeing that happening?
Even before the law came into force, we had a system of protecting our witnesses. Even before this law came into force.
Okay.
Now the law is saying we should set up a unit for witness protection.
Do we have that set up?
No,
Okay.
it's in progress. There are a lot of things involved with it. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to go into the legal thing concerning it. My thing is to ensure that, because I come from the education prevention department of the LCC, our work is to ensure that we're able to inform our people to a certain extent to elicit their buy-in and support in the fight against corruption. All right, tell them the danger of corruption, tell them the benefit of eradicating corruption. Right, that's what we do. So even before this law came into force, the LCC had a system of protecting its own witnesses. So as is, yes, that system is still in place, it's still strong. But regarding the setting of the unit, no, because it requires a whole lot.
Okay.
It requires money. It requires logistic. So as I speak to you, those modalities have been worked out. But regarding the protection of our witnesses, yes, we have a system in place to protect witnesses. Right? I remember a situation where one of our witnesses was taken to Ghana to a safe house and was kept there before, during, and after the investigation.
What did the law say about the unit, the witness protection unit? What kind of role, will they be playing?
It will have an executive director, someone who will still the unit.
Okay.
It will have its own financial procedures.
Okay.
There will be an accountant sitting there, or financial controller. So it will be almost like an independent body.
Okay.
Independent anti-corruption body carrying on that function. While it's true that the LCC is the lead anti-corruption institution, but witness protection is peculiar. So I think the framework of the act thought that this unit can be set up, it can be finalized, you can have a financial officer, you can have the executive director to run the unit.
Okay.
And like that, what the LCC will be doing, it will be just basic oversight and collaboration with that unit.
Okay.
And I think it will be housed within the LCC. Yeah.
Okay. So you're listening to Integrity Watch. This is your hour-long radio program that is produced by Centaur. This is part of our activity of our National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, which is supported by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA. We have Alfred Canley, he's the Community Relations Officer at the LACC, and we're talking about the new LACC law, some of the provisions of the LACC law, interesting provisions, and also we're talking about the witness protection and the whistleblower laws. And in case you don't know, whistleblowing is about reporting or giving information about corruption. That's just whistleblowing. When you give information about corruption, you have blown or whistled about corruption. And witness protection is about, when you did not just stop at revealing information about corruption, but you have knocked your chest and say, yes, I want to move another step by going to testify that I saw this thing happening. I saw this transaction. I got evidence. I can testify to the court on the camera. When you decide to do that, the law, the witness protection law, should protect you. There's a provision to protect you. And he just said it, LACC already has a system in place to protect whoever that comes up to testify against people about corruption. So if you were afraid, you need not to be afraid, because there will be a protection, or there is a protection in place for you witnesses who want to testify against corrupt people. There's a law already in place. So the number to call if you want to participate is 0770-436-728, 0770-436-728. Once you dial that number, you are going to be live here on the program entitled to watch and interact with the community relations officer at the LACC. Or the another number to call is 0777-285961, 0777-285961. So we have two numbers here, and I will read them again. The first is 0770-436-728, and the other is 0777-285961. These are the numbers to call and interact with the Community Relations Officer at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. This is the body that is empowered legally to prosecute corruption-related cases, investigate and prosecute corruption-related cases. If we are going to be successful in the fight against corruption, the LACC will play a very pivotal role. The role of the LACC will be very pivotal because they are the top-notch institution when it comes to the fight against corruption. That's why CENTAR has a very strong partnership, a very strong relationship with the LACC. We'll take this caller. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, let's hear you, your name.
Yeah, this is Amamomo calling from Kuminga Junction.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, you're talking about the corruption. So I agree for people who are corrupt in a country that they take them to put their power country too much, my brother. We are suffering today for a lot of financial. We are not getting nothing better in this country. They just getting that money. So all those that corrupt, they carry them to go. That is what we give them.
Okay, thank you very much. In case you would like to make your contribution as he just did, you can call 0770-436-728 or 0777-285961. Let's come to you, Alfred, on asset declaration. What is the status of asset declaration? The new government are taking office. A lot of folks, declare their assets, and we also realize that a lot of them have not declared their asset. What is the status so far? What is the compliance level in terms of asset declaration so far?
Well, asset declaration is a function of the LACC, like I said, which is an administrative function. Because the new law says that the asset declaration regime should.
Let's take this person. Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm Eben Wise, and I do join you from my comfortable community GS area.
Let's hear you.
Let me say thank you to your studio guest for the explanation on corruption, and also to your institution, the National Integrity Forum. So my concern is due to asset declaration. Many times government officials will declare their assets. But what happens that I notice in my following the process is that verification is very important, because some government officials will over declare because they know they have intention of stealing government money. Others will not declare for people to not know that, they have money in society. So I'm urging the verification team or unit at the LACC to pick up their strength in ensuring that every asset that is being declared by a government official should be verified to know whether it is true or they lie on our oath. Lastly,
Mm.
there is a department at the LFCC that is responsible to retrieve all government assets.
Hello? Oh, I think he's, I mean, yes, some interesting points.
Yeah. So as I was saying,
Mm.
asset declaration is a preventive tool
Okay.
used by the LACC to ensure credibility, even for the person who is coming to government.
Mm.
Because public perception is something that's also hampering our work. So, as a way of clearing public perception, we encourage people coming to government to declare their asset.
Mhm.
Like that, we are able to keep track of what you coming to government with and what you are living with. So,
Let's see what is.
Okay, I just allowed you because of insufficient credit, but quickly, I just want to.
Yeah, just be very quick in a couple of
Yeah,
seconds.
there is a department that is there to retrieve government assets.
Mm.
Why is it that the president is instituting a executive order to create the asset recovery team? I want you to explain on that.
Thank you very much. He might respond to that. Yes.
so as I was saying, it's a preventive function, a preventive tool. So, when you come to government and declare your asset, you are doing yourself good.
Mm.
Because once the public get to know what you came with, right, and what you are living with, I mean, you are safe.
There's another
So-
interesting
so
part.
I'm coming. So when you declare,
Mm.
people who are elected
Mm.
supposed to declare their asset prior to taking office,
Okay.
right? People who are appointed to government positions, the controllers, people who manage contract, issue licenses, you have 30 days after your appointment, right, to declare your asset. So those are the things I wanted to make clear.
Okay.
The next thing is he talked about verification, and that's key.
Yes, that's key.
That's
That's
very
key.
key.
Mm.
So LACC, at LACC we do verification,
Mm.
and we do it in consonant with our with other agencies, LRA, FIA, because we don't have all the expertise. So we find people who are versed in property evaluation. We find people who are able to interpret financial transaction, and we bring all of them together, and we go in the field, all right, and do the verification. But government is big, right? So there are criteria for verification that we have. We look at those criteria based on sometimes the frequency of declaration, the
Mm.
consistency. Once it spark public outcry, we go after it. And sometimes, for example, this public official, there is this outcry about your asset.
Mm.
People is in the public.
Mm.
Once you declare your asset and it has gauged public opinion, the public opinion is high, that asset require verification.
So is it not a requirement for every asset declared?
It
or
is a requirement for every asset declared.
So
What I'm
is it
saying,
because of capacity?
yeah, because of capacity. So we look with their criteria,
Mm.
right? We may not be able to verify everybody at once. We do it one at a time. As I speak to you, we verify people who just left the outgoing government. So we verify a portion of them. We verify a percentage of those who are coming in. And as we go along, we do it bit by bit, and we complete the entire cycle, right? So we will complete those who did an asset declaration to ensure that what they declare when they were exiting is true, align with what is on ground and what they declare to us. Then when we do that percentage, we'll move on to a certain percentage of the incoming people,
Okay.
yeah, to look at what they have. Now, as we go along, we do it bit by bit. And all time, within 5-6 years, we are able to absorb all the declarations. And again,
Mhm.
after every 3 years, according to the law, you have to redeclare. When
Okay.
you are promoted, probably you were a director somewhere and you move from becoming a director to a minister proper, you also declare upon your promotion. When you are promoted, you declare.
So I mean, what is the compliance level with the assets already declared? I mean, or government officials? Are we having a huge percentage of people already declared, or do we have a very low
Last
percentage?
time we checked, it was a bit slow, but
Okay.
I'm not sitting in this hot seat to tell you to give you exact figures,
Okay.
but when I sit,
Mm.
I see people coming every
Every
day.
Okay.
And the next time you hear the chairperson talking about asset declaration, the number will shock you. You'll be astonished.
So what is the number now?
I don't know the figures right now.
Okay.
I can't speak to the figure.
Okay.
But what I see
Mm.
when we first announced the first batch that declared, that announcement put people against the wall. The
Okay.
public cry, the talk shows, and everything feed into what we did. As I speak to you, I see an avalanche of government officials coming to the LECC every day. So the official spokesperson is the chairperson, and at the end of the month, hopefully she's supposed to be speaking on asset declaration. I can tell you for free, the number will shock you.
Okay.
Yeah, it will, because from what I see on everyday basis, people are coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And that speaks to the fact that the public outcry is helping Sinta, is helping our partners, are happy because we can't do it alone.
Okay.
That's why I'm sitting here today.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing here about whistleblower, about witness protection, feeds into the work we are doing. Because how will somebody get encouraged to come and blow whistle if they don't know what they are benefiting along the way? Like if you are a witness in court, we have the law provides for social services, psychosocial counseling, your physical protection, your relocation, all right, the change of identity. Someone said, but how do I even go to court? Oh, I will show my face. No, you will testify behind you. Because in camera.
Okay.
Nobody will take your photo. Nobody will recording. So even your voice will be redacted. Your voice will be changed. If you're a woman sitting behind that glass and testifying against me, probably you are working in the office and know your voice. So if you're a woman speaking, probably your voice will come as a man, as a male. So easily I can detect who's talking behind the glass. If you're a male, maybe your voice is redacted and you're talking like a child or one female. These are things put in the law to protect witnesses who come forward to testify in court.
What was the incentive, for example?
All right, for the whistleblower, you know, we encourage, the law encourages people working in public and private sector to blow whistle against acts of corruption, fraud, abuse of power, or influence peddling, and what have you. And if you read the law, the framers of the law, in my mind, were very smart. Because when you blow this kind of whistle, what you face is a barrage of responses from those you are blowing the whistle against. Now you get ostracized in the first place, right? If you blow a whistle about one government ministry or agency, and I think hit the limelight, nobody in that ministry wants to talk to you anymore, right? Probably you get demoted, or you get removed from your position. They make you a nominal figure. So the law said no. When you blow the whistle, the law will protect you on that job. Okay. If you were a director and you blew the whistle, you remain a director.
All right.
The law provides that nobody can demote you, nobody can ostracize you, because those are the feedback you will get.
Okay.
Transfer the man, demote the man, fire the man. So under the law, you are protected. And when you blow a whistle about maybe a specific amount, let's say maybe $1 million, $2 million, and the government went to court, and the whistle you blew was an authentic whistle, and that money was retrieved, you get 5% of that money for blowing the whistle.
Wow. So you got 5% of whatever funds retrieved as a result of the whistle you blew against corruption. That's a provision within the whistleblower law, espoused by Alfred Conley, the Community Relations Officer at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And sadly, we don't have much time left for this edition of the show. Just like to get your parting comments in 30 seconds.
So again, let me say thank you, Blamo, for the opportunity. And I hope we can do this every week, maybe twice a week, to bring our people up to speed, because, you know, public information is important. The work we do. I was shocked one time, I was talking about LECC. Somebody said they don't know what LECC is.
Wow.
I was shocked. So that informed me that more needs to be done in terms of communication, in terms of public outreach. So I'm happy that Sinta, again, is looking towards our direction, calling on us, knocking our doors to appear, and we can make ourselves available every week, maybe twice a week, to be here to tell our people what they need to do, and that we need their support in the fight against corruption. Because, like I said the last time, in closing, we are just around 87, 88, 89% of the LECC.
Wow.
So if you take the fight against corruption and tie it around 89%, that's a minute portion of the 5.2 million people.
Yeah.
We can win this war.
Okay.
So we need your support. We need your support. So we are caught that way. We are building synergies.
Okay.
We are working with you, calling on the public to join us in the fight against corruption.
Thank you very much. That's the voice of Alfred Conley. He's the Community Relations Officer at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LECC, and he was here talking about the new LECC law the whistleblower and witness protection laws and other activities there at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We will see you next Wednesday about this time for another edition of the program, Integrity Watch. Until then, in case you want to know what we're doing at CENTAR, you can follow our website. We are available at www.centar.org.lr, or you can visit our dedicated budget portal, our budget analysis portal, to know some of the trends of the national budget. And the portal address is www.liberiabudget.info, or you can visit our Facebook page. We are available at Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We are on X or Twitter. We are also on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube, Integrity TV. We are also on Facebook, Integrity TV. So just connect with us and get to know what we're doing as CENTAR. Until next Wednesday, my name is Edward Blamo. I am the Media and Communications Officer at CENTAR. Bye-bye.